So, this is Simon with the 30-second Somm, and I'm super excited to talk to you today about Cinco de Mayo and Cinco de Mayo cocktails. So, I'm going to make you a couple of delicious palomas and a couple of fantastic margaritas in addition. So, let's talk a little bit about the holiday of Cinco de Mayo. So, today we're commemorating the Battle of Puebla, where in 1862, a undersized and undertrained army of Mexicans beat a very well-trained French army at the Battle of Puebla. So it's an important day in the history of Mexican independence and an important day for Mexican Americans as well. So in addition to that, I wanted to pick something that was going to really speak to the spirit of Mexican independence. And so we picked a delicious tequila today. We're going to use the Casa Dragones. So they're named after, and their building that they're in is the former home of the Cavalry de los Dragones, which was a cavalry that actually sided with Padre Hidalgo 2 centuries before the Battle of Puebla to help kickstart the Mexican independence movement. I think that's pretty fitting. So let's make some fantastic cocktails. We're going to start you off with a classic Paloma. So what I did here is I just took a beautiful Riedel Collins glass and I rimmed it with some black salt, some tahine, as well as some regular sea salt there. And I did that by just dipping the edge of it. I'll show you how I do it. I took the glass and I dip it here into a little bit of sticky orange liqueur. Now, obviously, your triple sec is fine, but when you're going to make a luxury cocktail like I am today, I would suggest using something really high quality, like the Torres Magdala, which is absolutely outstanding. All right, so I've got my glass filled with ice, and I'm going to put in a couple ounces of the Dragones Blanco tequila. And then you can top that off with your favorite grapefruit soda. There's a bunch of them to choose from in the marketplace. This is a great one that's not quite as sweet. And today I'm using the one that everybody knows. I'm going to give it a nice garnish here. A little slice of fresh grapefruit. And of course, a fun straw. All right, so I'm going to make a modern style Paloma as well. So now that I've got my glass garnished here, I'm going to put in some ice and some tequila. So this modern Paloma is going to be a less sweet version than the one that normally is made with your grapefruit soda. So what I'm going to do here is I've got some fresh squeezed grapefruit juice. I'm going to add a couple ounces of that. And then I'm going to top it off with some sparkling water. And there's a lot of these unsweetened sparkling waters in the marketplace right now. I'm using a grapefruit flavored one. You can use plain, you can use lime, whatever it is that you like. But the idea here is to add something that is both sparkling and is unsweetened. So I'm going to give that a little bit of a stir here. Mix it all together. Now, I find that quite often fresh grapefruit juice doesn't have quite enough acid for my palate, so I'm gonna garnish it with a piece of lime, and I'm gonna squeeze it in just a little bit, just to add a little bit more citric acid to the drink. And I think that this is absolutely gorgeous. But hey, I was out playing in my garden earlier anyway, so I'm gonna give some fresh mint a little slap there. Aromatize it, and that just makes this drink so much fun, absolutely delicious. So that's a really nice take on the Paloma with less sugar and all of the flavor that you expect in a great cocktail. There's a bunch of different cool things that you can do with that drink as well. You know, for example, if you aren't worried about the sugar and you've got the fresh grapefruit juice, why don't you use some ginger beer instead of your unsweetened sparkling? And then you're going to add that ginger to the grapefruit, which is going to be absolutely delicious. And I've got some other fun things that you could add to it. Like, for example, how about some fresh jalapeno? Just throw some jalapeno slices in there, either as a garnish on the rim, or actually just put them into the drink and stir them in a little bit. That's delicious as well. So obviously, a Cinco de Mayo presentation wouldn't be complete without a margarita. So I'm going to make you 2 delicious margaritas. Okay, so this first one I'm going to do here with a this beautiful Riedel double rocks glass. All right. I'm going to make this one really straightforward. So I've got some fresh squeezed lime juice. Let's use half an ounce of that. And I've got some of our Torres Magdala. This is made in Spain. The base spirit is Spanish brandy. Very, very high quality. I'm going to go ahead and use a whole ounce of this. Some people like to cut it down to half an ounce, which is I think what my recipe says here. And if that's not sweet enough for you at half an ounce, why don't you try either a full ounce of the Magdala like I'm using, or you could use a half ounce of agave syrup or simple syrup or whatever syrup you choose in addition to the Magdala to add some sweetness. And you'll find that the agave syrup adds a really nice added flavor to it. And of course some tequila. I've already got some ice here in the shaker. All right. So I entertain a lot at my house, and one of the things I like to do is I like to make pitchers of margaritas and let the pitchers sit there in the kitchen or wherever the party is centralized, the patio or whatnot, and I like to put some things out for people to garnish. So fundamentally what I've made is a plain margarita, but then I can do all sorts of things around it. So for example, you could put a bottle of chartreuse if someone wants to add a little splash of chartreuse to their margarita. It's absolutely delicious. Or different types of fresh fruits, soft fruits, hard fruits. You could add any different types of citrus like I have here. You know, make a little display, right, with your blood oranges, grapefruit, orange slices, whatever it is that you're interested in using. Put out some fresh herbs. Obviously, mint is going crazy already. You could put out some basil and some cilantro, whatever it is that you want to do. But fundamentally, what's in the blender is just a plain margarita. That way, somebody who just wants plain, they can have that. So I've got a nice king cube in there. I've got my glass already garnished. Delicious. I'm going to garnish this with a slice of blood orange, which were fresh in the market today, and a slice of lime. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't garnish this with a straw or anything because I want the saltiness of the cocktail. I find this is really well balanced and meets my palate. So obviously if you like yours more citrusy, double up on the citrus. If you like it sweeter, add more of liqueur or add agave syrup or whatever spirit you choose. Whatever it is you want to do. Or if you want to make it an even drier version, you know, pull back on the citrus and pull back on it and really let that tequila shine. And especially when you're using a really high quality tequila like Casa, which is fantastic as a sipper on its own. So I wanted to make you something lots of fun and interesting, and that's what we're going to do now. All right, so in my shaker here, I've got some fresh papaya. The papayas were looking gorgeous in the store, so I had to grab a couple of those. I'm going to put just 3 little chunks of fresh papaya in there, and then I've got some mint. You don't really like to do much to the mint. I'm just going to rip it in half and get that going in there. And then I've got something to muddle with. And in addition, I'm going to put in 1 slice of jalapeno. Just 1 though, okay? You don't have to put in any if you don't like, and just use it as a garnish afterwards. That totally is fair as well. The reason why I mention this is because if you're muddling jalapeno, the heat can get away from you really fast, especially when you're muddling the seeds and whatnot. It'll get crazy, okay? So I'm just smashing up that soft papaya fruit, getting it nice, breaking up those mint leaves a little bit. All right, Let's build the cocktail on top of that. Now, any soft fruit will work in this. I just happen to love papaya, and was bringing a papaya home for dinner anyway. But you could use mango, watermelon, strawberries, pineapple. It's all good. Okay, so I've got my mints. I've got my mints. I've got my my tequila, my papaya, and everything ready to go inside. All right, so let's scratch your glass. I'm going to use this beautiful Riedel sour glass, which is just, it's absolutely just gorgeous. It's a beautiful fluted lip to it. Give that a nice roll here in all of my delicious, wow, this cocktail smells so good. All my delicious salt and spices there. I'm going to go ahead and shake that into the notice this is coming out a little bit slow because you got some chunks of papaya in there, but that's a really good thing. All right, that's absolutely gorgeous. Now, I noticed that it's a little bit short in this glass. This is a larger size glass, so I'm gonna go ahead and top it off with some soda. You could use sparkling wine like a Prosecco or a Moscato, or just a nice Brut sparkling wine on top of it. But since I've already got this ready to go, I'm gonna top it off with some grapefruit soda. Delightful. And a beautiful garnish. So I got a piece of blood orange, some jalapeno, the mint that's going nuts, and of course, voila. Look at that, huh? Pretty good. All right, happy Cinco de Mayo. Eat all the tacos.